Okay, this next segment is on the air wash. I'm going to be honest with you. The air wash is a duplication of the Rainmate. I don't go into the whole presentation that I did with the Rainmate. The reason I do the Rainmate the way I do it is for leads, for instant sets, the Facebook post, because I want those leads coming in through the presentation, so I do it at the very beginning so I can help the customer with submissions. The air wash would be a redundant presentation of the Rainmate. So mainly what I'd like to convey to the customer at this point in time is the Rainmate is a very professional, high-end air purifier. And that's what I want to convey to the customer, that they're getting this. So let's back up for a second here and let's just talk about this. So I've got the Rainmate done. I've explained the program, the 12 and 2. I've explained our gift program. I have made a decision to go out to the car and get the Rainbow. Before I get started, a couple things I just want to continue to mention. If you got a new Rainbow, be careful, because you still have to hook the hydraulics up. What are the hydraulics? This are hydraulics. That's what makes it raise and lower, okay? And on a brand new machine for packing, it makes it so that it stays down and it just doesn't raise itself up. So there's 2 pins in the back, right back here, and you'll see them. They're real easy, and you have to just push them back, and there's a slot in for them to slide into, okay? The other thing is this is our separator. Needs cleaned once in a while if you've done a couple presentations. There's a brush that slides in and out here. And when you get your machine, I suggest you highly go over the machine. I would probably, if I were you, I would set this all up before I do a presentation. If you're checked out with a brand new machine, set it all up before you do a presentation, okay? So the air wash is basically showing them how much dust it catches in the air. And this is so important that you do it right, all right? What I then do is at that point in time, after I pull it out, set the hydraulics, and I have them go get some water, and I have them fill it up just below this line, which shows the tip of the water. I don't want too much water in there, okay? I want enough that it obviously spins, but you can review that and play with the machine throughout, okay? Throughout your presentation. So, explain this machine. First of all, you need to understand that the Rainmate is a toy compared to this machine. I didn't say that the Rainmate was a toy. I said the Rainmate is a toy compared to this machine. The Rainmate does a space about this big. The Rainbow will do the entire home if left on. So that's important that the customer understands that. Many air purifiers are not certified. They haven't went under a certification. What exactly does that mean? AHAM certified is the only true way. They're a very conservative testing site. So we test down to, on the low speed, I think it says about 115, 120 square feet, which is an area about the quarter size of a room. That's not on the high speed, that's on the low speed. So there's just some real important things that you talk about. The best way to do the Air Wash Light Show is to use your book and basically read the book and explain that there is a front cover, there is a back cover. Have them go get you the water, okay? And snap it down. Take the front cover off and snap it into place. Okay? And we have 4 different speeds, from the highest speed our 3rd speed, our 2nd speed, and our lowest speed, or call our quiet mode. This is where a customer would use this during the day, leave the water in there, and it was going to purify the air. Best place I tell the customer to leave this is at the return vent, where the majority of the air is circulating and going in. All right. We also have a timer on our machine that allows a customer to leave the home, and it will run either 30, 60, or 90 minutes. And there's a light, LED lights that shows on top here on how many minutes it is. One is 30 minutes, 2 lights up is 60 minutes, 3 lights up is 90 minutes. It has an onboard computer, okay, non-scratch resistant material made, gives a person many years of great looking life to it, okay? So I leave it on the low speed, and then what we mean by a light show, it moves air. It's got a hurricane motor, which means it moves air at 70 miles per hour, all right? I just want to start talking about and leaving the machine on as much as possible, because I want the dust to go into, and I want them to see the dust. During this presentation, I will also turn the lights off in the home and they can see the dust. I will scrape, and you can see the dust coming out of the light. So it's so important that they understand and see this dust going into the machine. After a few minutes of running it, I will then pull, this is the important part, I will pull the machine, the basin, the water basin out. I will take the water basin up to them, okay, with the light on the side. Some people put the light underneath. I put the light on the side, and they can see all the hairs and all the dust and everything that has came into the water basin. And you will get quite a reaction from that. Now, the other item I want to cover with them is they will mention the 115 square feet. I'd rather bring it up than them ask me about it later. So at this point in time, before I do that, I will say I want to show you how much of the home that it actually does. I will take a very familiar odor, whether it be orange for aromatizing, lemon for aromatizing, or eucalyptus for medicating, okay? So, and I will have them go to the far end of the room, or as far to the kitchen as they possibly can. I then will give it a real good squirt in there, and I will turn the machine around, turn it on, and I will turn the machine around with the back part of it off. So instead of it blowing down, I want it to blow as far as possible. And I ask them, I will turn it on, and then I will ask them, at what point do you smell the orange? And as soon as they raise their hand and say, listen, at this point in time, we know that this machine is working because we can only suck in as much air as we can release, and we know it's covering this much of the room. So right now we're aromatizing the entire room or the bottom floor. We are also, okay, medicating, sanitizing the entire floor. So that is my basic air wash. I'm through this part in just a couple minutes. I really am. Like I said, it is the light show is so important that you go and you scrape a ton of areas, from the couch to your skin, to your pants, maybe your jacket, the carpeting. Scrape everywhere that you can see dust. Once again, I turn off the light for the maximum effect. So that is my air wash light show. Now, it is important that they understand why our system works at such a high efficiency. Most customers, they buy into it. But in their mind, they can go buy something like ours. And they can't. Because the simple fact is, if you really study this, we do not use dry filtration. Now, all machines are based on the same fact. So Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you really only have two things in your home, unless you have an air purifier. You only have two things in your home that cleans the inside of your home. You have your HVA system, which uses an air filter, or you have your common vacuum cleaner, which uses a bag or some form of filter. Unfortunately, it's called dry filtration, or they use what is called mechanical filtration. And that's where they add layers of filters, which decreases airflow, which decreases efficiency. The other thing happens is they get clogged and they fail to work, okay? Because all systems are made the same way. They have an intake, and this is the intake, okay? They have an outtake. They have some form of dry filtration, and they have a motor unit. All equipment operates the same way, whether it be the HVAC system or your common vacuum cleaner. They all operate the exact same way. And in my presentation, I want them to show them what dry filtration is and how it basically works. So I will take one of our pads, our black pads, I will hand it to Mrs. Jones, and I will ask her to blow through it. Hold it up to your face and blow through it. It blows very easily through it. That's called air flow. Now, what I mean by dry filtration, mechanical filtration, that the more filters I add, if you hold these up to your face and blow through them, you can barely move any air through them, which means it's not bringing any air in if it's blocked. So the design, which has been a 100-year design, just by nature doesn't work because they want to filter the dust, but they're not controlling the source. The largest filter you have in your home is going to be your furniture and your carpeting. That's where all of the dust mite, feces, and so are. What's moving through the air wash will handle, but the filtration is what everybody else uses, and it's just inefficient. Why do I mean that? And how can I show it? The most important part is, how do you show it? Otherwise, they're just going to think in their mind they can go buy something, all right? So you have to explain why water is so much more efficient in airflow. Now, in the common cleaning system, they will tell you that our machine never loses suction. And that's important that they say that, because they're telling you the truth, that no machine ever loses suction, including ours, the Rainbow. But what's important, and what you have to show through your presentation, all right, is suction versus airflow, is that this part, which is a continuance of the Light Show air wash. So you put the front hose on the front, and you say, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I am going to build the design of 100 years, which is exactly either your common cleaning system or your HVA system, or even the an air purifier system, because air purifiers work the same also. They have an intake, they have an outtake, and they have a paper or some form of HEPA filter. Now, in your attachment case, you will notice that you have what is called a utility nozzle, and and the bottom of this, because it has the brush and the ridges, that helps with airflow, and you have to pop this off. I would highly suggest you carrying one of these separate from the unit, because you'll lose it. Carry one separate, put it in your demo case, and just have the brush already off of it. So Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we're going to build a common cleaning system. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take one pad because we want to at least build some form of a real filter. And so I take 2 pads is all I take. Drop the other ones back, and I put the 2 pads right over the intake. Now I have an intake, all right, with a filter, a dry filter, like in their home. I have a motor, I have an outtake, just like the design of their machine. And then I put the utility nozzle on here. Now, many equipment out there says they don't lose suction. Dyson is the biggest for that. So I turn this on. And I agree with them. This is called suction. Now, in my presentation, I will use a common ping pong ball that you can buy at a drugstore. They're cheap, 6 of them. And to show, this is suction, okay? And this is airflow. It has plenty of airflow and it has plenty of suction. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, if I just allowed this to go on for a few minutes, you would notice a definite difference, but to speed up the process, I'm going to use it like you would use your common, excuse me, cleaning equipment. Okay? You only have to go over once. Dealers, you will hear the motor rev up. We still have suction, but the problem is we have now lost airflow, okay? And I only went a little bit over it. And that's all you have to do. Wait for the motor to kick up. And the reason why, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, that you lost this is because it is now clogged. So no matter what system, what filter you use, whether it be a HEPA filter or mechanical filtration or any other type of filter, either in your cleaning system, HVAC system, or your air purifier, as long as you're using dry filtration, you will lose efficiency. And by the way, I can tell you right now, in this time of, now we're going into spring, so it's not as big of a deal, but it will be. And when it gets real hot out or real cold, the efficiency of your HVAC system, a clogged filter can cause up to 20% loss of efficiency, which today, the gas bill goes crazy. Gas and electric bill goes crazy. Now with our system, we use water. We don't use dry filtration, we use water. So I'm going to turn ours back into the rainbow with just our filter being the water. And like we said, we have plenty of suction. We have airflow. And what I like to do is I actually like to clean all the dirt off of the pad. Like this, and make the pad look brand new. And then I like to go and start cleaning the floor. I clean the floor, I clean the floor, I clean the floor, and then I go clean the couch. And then I clean the floor. And I say, folks, you tell me when to stop. And I keep going. And eventually they'll say stop. And I said, what's important, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, is we still have what? Suction, but on top of everything else, we still have airflow. And not only do we still have airflow, but we're still one of the greatest air purifiers on the market today, because one, we're absolutely certified, and the cost of using filters, expensive filters. If you look up at many of our competitors, the highest end filters are about $300 that you go through every couple months. To the low end of your furnace filter, you can get one for $15, $18 and change it every 3 to 4 weeks. But the efficiency, and then because the efficiency, where you lose the air flow, What happens is the source of the house dust, of the dust mites, the dust mite feces, the allergy causing toxin from your skin drops into the carpet, onto the furniture, and stays into the air. And if you don't believe me, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, when you changed that furnace filter, you looked at it and you couldn't believe it. But let me mention something to you. It's in your lungs. Because how that filter looks is what you're breathing in. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Because it's obviously there. Because if you've seen that dust floating in the air, you would want to do something about it. That is my air wash, my light show, and my suction versus airflow. Our next segment, obviously, is going to be moving into the power nozzle. Here's important. I do this right here, and I stop at this point before I go and get the power nozzle. The reason I stop at this point before I go and get the power nozzle is I actually want to have them check their phone for leads. People that have either answered their text, or when I did my Facebook post, if they see likes or comments, we'll go over those likes or comments. If they know them in person, we will at this point in time give them a call. Let me say this, the Instant Set program is the most important program. It takes all of the pressure off of the marketing department. You control those leads. You only are in there for one reason, that is to get leads. So at this point in time, they're already thinking of who should look at this machine. And that's why I take the time to stop. Let's look through your phone. Why don't you give them a call? See if you can get some. You make sure they're on customer RBO, that they know how to use it. Why do I want them submitting appointments? Because I want them to show them, in case they have problems submitting appointments, I want to go over what is standby. I want to go over the calendar. I want them to understand qualified, unqualified. All of this is important. Remember, when we first started talking about marketing, we understand that 50% of the people, everybody's going to want to buy the Rainbow. The reason they're going to buy it tonight, 50% are going to buy it because of the program. You do your job on the program, and that's as far as getting leads, getting instant sets, you will be highly successful. Once again, let's concentrate on, at this point in time, then go get the power nozzle and you're ready to move on to the next part, which is our power nozzle. And that's where we're going to do the mattress and also the carpet. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the cleaning system and the reason we use the nozzle for the source, and also how it protects the people's furniture and carpeting. All right, thank you.